Hello, good evening guys. I'm back again. My name is Solomon Steven, and I'm going to be passing through question 2, which I left last time. I did question 1 and I'll be doing question 2 now. So hope you learned something on question 1, so I'll be going on question 2. I'll be starting with we did many classes, and I'll be starting with the first class I did, which was Triathlon Results as the main class. So I'll be starting with it, and the first line of my code where I have package, that's the package up. When you are creating the file, it comes there, you save it and it comes as it is. So when you come down, you have a public class which I'll be starting with, and mainly this file or this class represents the results of participants in triathlon, or the participants which we are given in the question. So this one will be representing them, and then I'll be starting with the details, which we have the private string name, private int ID, blah blah blah, up to down where we have the double time, run time. So basically the string name represents the participant's name, and it's a string because these are letters, so that's why they are strings. So then the next one, the private integer ID, which represents the participant's identification number. And then you come down where you have a private double swimming time. So I named it a double because a time may be having seconds and minutes and microseconds. That's why I gave it a double, so that you can take all of them when it's necessary. So that swimming time represents the time taken to swim, and then the cycling time, it also represents the time taken when cycling, and then the run time, the time taken while running. And then we get down to the code which follows down, where we have the public triathlon results, and you have the string name, string ID, and blah blah blah, everything as you can see. So this one it initializes the attributes and checks that the swimming time, the cycling time, and the swimming time, they are all less than 0. When you come down and you check on this if, it checks that both of them, all of them actually, they have to be greater than 0. So if they are less than 0, then it has to bring this message which is down, which says times cannot be negative. If all times are, or if one of them is less than 0, then it will be displaying this message down on it, where the results comes on each. Like for example, when I say the cycling time, and then it's 0 or negative, then it will bring times cannot be negative on that cycling time. Then again on swimming time, if it's also negative or less than 0, it will also bring that message again, like to each, up to the end of the results. So as you can see down, we have actually this code we have down, it calls for this which is up. So everything which is up here, it will be displayed here on the name, down, ID, swimming time, cycling time, and running time, if it's not less than 0. And if it's less than 0, it will bring that message following this arrangement of the codes which is here. So let's go down to the codes which follows, and the code which follows is it's a get. Get, we all know that you are calling for that those private codes we mentioned up first. We made it private so that they cannot be accessed by other files. So now we are going to be calling them each by one. So we start with the first one, which is the string get name. We are calling the name, and the result has to be the name. And then we call the next one, which is the get ID, which also will display the ID. And then the third one, which is get swimming time, which will display the swimming time. And then the next one, like that, up to the last one. So then we have public double calculate total time. So this one will calculate the total time and display it down after it has displayed all the information which we are calling up. Then it displays the total time following this code which says swim time plus cycling time plus run time, and then displays the total of both of the three of them when they are summed up. And then this last one, which is a public void display details, and we have this system out print. So this one will be calling to print all the details each one by one. So it prints out the ID, prints out the name, the swimming time with the minutes which you have swimmed or the time you have swimmed, with the cycling time with the time, and the running time with the time you have run, and then with the total down. So I'll be going to the next one, which is elite participant, which was my next class. And then this class, it also contains the same package because they are all in the same file which I created. So they'll all be having the same package. And then you come down, you have the public class, elite participant extends Triathlon Results, where you have the private string sponsor's name. So this one, basically, it calls for the sponsor's name. So here we'll be putting the sponsor's name to those participants who had sponsors, and that's what this code does. And then when you come down, you have public elite participants. So here now we call all the details for the participants who will be having the sponsors. So their details will be the name, the ID, the swimming time, cycling time, and running time all together. So then it adds on the sponsor's name down after calling all this information. Then it will put the sponsor's name down. That's what this code means. And then when you go down, you have the public string get sponsor's name. So now it gets the sponsor's name, which it will display down on the code we have just mentioned up. So here it gets, then here down on the where we have the override. So this one will be calling the superclass, which is this display details. It will be calling it to print the information and then add the sponsor's name. So it will be bring them together, that each participant will be having all the details, then plus the sponsor's name down on every person who has the sponsor. So I'll be going to the next, which is the beginners participant class. But this one, I think it doesn't need a lot because it will be working with the Triathlon Results, the same information. So this one will be extending the information of the Triathlon Results. So when you come down, we have the public class beginners participant extends triathlon. So it extends those information. So then when you come down to it, it calls for the superclass constructor to initialize inherited attributes, which you can see here down. So I think that's all about this one. Then we got the last one, which is the main class, which I call the main class. And then this one, it will be the main class, and then it will be it contains all the main methods, and then it executes everything all together to bring out the results. So this is the class that will run to get everything, because it calls all the other classes information that they hold and then displays them. So we start with importing. Here we imported all the utilities we needed, the arrays, collections, operators, and everything. So when you come down, we have the class, the same class, which is Triathlon main, and then come down where we have the public class void main. This one, string argument, we already know this one. The lecturer taught about this. So now when you come down, we have we have this information which is displayed down, say try, and then all the information which is down, like for every participant, we put every participant's information down which we need, which were given actually in the question, where we had Alice, Bob, Charles, and Diana as the participants, and then their information was displayed as you can see it, and then those ones with the sponsors also. Sponsors are there displayed. Sorry. So after all this information, you come down to where we have collections dot sort. So this code, it sorts the participants based on their total time using a comparator, which compares the total time of all of them together. So you come down where we have system print out. So this one calls for the results of triathlon results of the first class we looked at. So it will call for the results from there, and then it prints them out. So now when you come down, we have first if for the first if, which is here down, which checks for the participants. It checks for the participants, the first participants, the fastest, who was the fastest, and then it displays that person first. So it will check the results and calls for the one who was fastest in all of them, then it displays the results out as the fastest participant. Like it will have to mention, it calls for that name, then to mention this one was the first participant and this one was the second fastest participant, as you can see from the second if. So for it to be calling the second fastest participant, and then on the last one, after you have checked all of them, so if the participant who are created have a negative time, then it displays an error. That's what this last code means. So all the participants who have negative time, it will be displaying an error, and then we are going to be running this code to see the results that comes out. Let me expand the screen so that you can see the results for my code, and then oh sorry, seems we got an error, so let's try to run it again and see. It's still running, so you gotta be patient for it to finish the running. Sorry, so it's still showing an error. We are going to try to run from the main class, and you see if it can also bring an error. Sometimes it brings an error when you run from that side, but when you run from this side, it's more good. So let's run here and you see. Okay, so it's still running. Yeah, I think here it has worked. So it's better when you run from the main class, not the other side, because there it doesn't bring the results very well. But now you can see the results from the first participant. Let's go up and see. So the first one, it was the participants with the ID2, who is Bob, and blah blah blah, the details there, and those ones with the sponsors, you can see the sponsor down here, and then to the last participant, and then here down it shows the fastest participant, and this was Bob with the total time of 70 minutes, and then the second fastest participant is also Diana with the total time. So as we called in the other code, if you can remember. Yeah. So I think this is all. So we meet next time when we have another work. Have a good evening.